watching this live or later as it is a recorded event. I'd also like to thank District Attorney Laura Thomas for being here, Chief Terry Essery from the Fire Department, and Assistant Chief Brandon Holcomb. Melissa Reams, Deputy City Manager, is here. So thank you all for coming. It was a really big turnout. Today is a special day for the Stillwater Police Department and our community. We have an opportunity to recognize two outstanding police officers who have dedicated themselves not only to our community, but to their fellow officers. Today we'll be conducting a pinning ceremony for one sergeant and one lieutenant. Regardless of the promotion these officers are receiving, they both have one thing in common: a desire to do more for their community, co-workers, and the policing profession. As the Chief of Police, I interview each candidate as they go through their individual promotional process. The most notable comments that I hear over and over is that each one of these officers look at promotion as an opportunity to do more for the people they work with and the community we serve. None of the officers being promoted today made any mention of how the promotion was going to benefit them. Every one of them talked about how the promotion would allow them to do more for their fellow officers, our community, and the co-workers that they work with. What few people truly understand about getting promoted is that when you get promoted, you often drop to the bottom of the seniority list for that position, and you take on a lot more responsibility. The term we often use is, you have to give up to go up. When promoted to the position of sergeant, you are no longer just responsible for yourself. You are now responsible for leading others, caring about their future, helping them grow as officers, leaders, and servants to our community. You are often held accountable for the failures of those under your command. The promotion to sergeant is the first official leadership promotion at the Stillwater Police Department. We expect all of our officers to perform as leaders, but the position of sergeant is where an officer begins the transition from focusing on their needs to focusing on the needs of others. It's an amazing learning process that requires a great deal of adjustment. The sergeant is the single most important leadership role in the police department. It's important because a sergeant is both on the front lines with their coworkers and behind the front lines working to ensure their coworkers have the time, training, equipment, and support needed to safely, efficiently, and professionally provide outstanding police services to our community. Sheree Lejeune, would you please come forward? Sheree has served our community for the past 13 years. She started her career, like all of us, as a patrol officer. After spending 3.5 years in patrol, Sheree was selected to serve in our Special Projects Unit. Sheree worked undercover on numerous cases and probably has some of the most interesting stories of any officer on this department. None of those can be told publicly. After working in special projects for 4 years, Sheree applied for and was selected to serve as a detective in the Criminal Investigations Division. As a detective in CID, Sheree continued to grow her skills as an investigator. She honed her skills working numerous crimes against person cases. Her success rate at obtaining confessions and building strong cases in some of the most mentally taxing investigations built her reputation as one of Stillwater's best detectives. I have had the pleasure of working alongside Sheree and watching her grow into the leader she is today. In addition to her service as a police officer and a detective, Sheree is heavily involved in our community outreach program and Big Brothers Big Sisters. Working undercover and in the capacity of a crimes against person detective caused her to witness firsthand the devastation to children living in broken homes as a result of addiction, family violence, and abuse. These experiences have fueled her passion to do more for our community and our most vulnerable citizens, the children. Sheree will continue to serve in our Criminal Investigations Division as a supervisor and a detective. Sheree is being pinned with her new badge by her mom, Lana. Lana will now pin Sheree Congratulations, Sergeant Lejeune. The next step in the promotional process is the lieutenant. The lieutenant is responsible for oversight of as many as 3 sergeants and a dozen police officers or detectives. Lieutenants focus on growing, mentoring, leading, and inspiring their sergeants and the officers under their command. The lieutenant is not only a member of their assigned unit, but the lieutenant also represents the department's administration. A lieutenant is responsible for carrying out the directives and orders from the chief's office. The lieutenant is also responsible for understanding the concerns, needs, and insights from the frontline staff and representing the frontline staff in the chief's office. The main focus of the lieutenant is to make certain that information flows up and down the chain of command and to ensure that the administration of the department stays in touch with the needs of the frontline staff and that the frontline staff carries out the directives and orders coming out of the chief's office. A lieutenant learns to look at the organization, our staff, administration, and the community from an elevated position of leadership. The lieutenant sees the goals of the organization and the needs of the frontline staff and works to mesh the two together to ensure we are providing the best possible services to our community. Sean Millerman, please come forward. Sean came to us from the Iowa Tribe Police Department in 2013. Sean had worked at the Iowa Tribe Police Department after graduating top of his class at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Artesia, New Mexico. As a Stillwater police officer, Sean grew his interest in criminal interdiction and DUI enforcement. In 2015, Sean became a member of the police department's multi-agency special operations team. Sean continues to serve on the team in the capacity of team leader. The team leader is responsible for assisting the team commander with training, operational plans, and oversight of numerous team members. During that same year of 2015, he also attended one of law enforcement's toughest training programs. The Drug Recognition Expert Program, or DRE program as we call it, is one of the toughest law enforcement training programs in the country, where once again, Sean graduated top of his class. Over the next couple of years, Sean continued to not only grow his knowledge and skills, but he became a nationally certified drug recognition expert instructor. In that capacity, Sean helped teach numerous DRE schools and standard field sobriety courses to police officers. Sean became a field training officer and used his knowledge, skills, and expertise to train new and experienced police officers. In 2019, Sean was promoted to the rank of sergeant and continued to serve in the patrol division. In 2020, Sean was selected to serve as a sergeant in the Criminal Investigations Division as a detective sergeant. In that role, Sean has been tasked with investigating multiple violent crimes and assisting with oversight of the detective unit. Sean not only proved himself as a great detective, but he also grew his leadership skills by working alongside some of the most talented detectives and leaders to be found anywhere. Sean is being pinned by his wife, Heather. They always seem real nervous when a loved one gets a sharp instrument near them. Sean will continue to serve our department as a lieutenant on what we call third watch, which is evening shift. Congratulations, Lieutenant Miller. Lieutenant Millerman and Sergeant Lejeune, if I could have you come back up front, please. As you can see, leadership is a journey. It's not a destination. You never stop learning, growing, and improving. Lieutenant Millerman and Sergeant Lejeune are at mile markers in their leadership journey. What is comforting to see is that they are both traveling on the same road, supporting the overall cause of providing professional police services to our amazing community. Sergeants are on a journey to be tomorrow's lieutenants. Lieutenants are on a journey to be tomorrow's captains, and captains are on a journey to be tomorrow's chief. The journey is necessary to ensure we never stop growing or improving. The leaders promoted today inspire me. Each has taught me something new about leadership. They have reinforced the saying that leaders can only lead if others are willing to follow them. Otherwise, they are simply walking by themselves. The reason these leaders are being promoted today is because they put others before themselves, and their coworkers willingly follow them. They make sacrifices in order to move us closer to our goal of continually improving ourselves and the community we serve. I applaud both of these amazing officers and ask that you continue to support them as they lead us to greater and greater accomplishments. I also ask that you support their families because of the sacrifices that they make every day in their leadership roles. Let's give them one more big round of applause. Oh, you don't run off just yet. At this time, we will take some pictures. My staff and I would like to take pictures with them in front of the flags, and then the family and friends and fellow officers, we would want you to also take as many pictures as you can because this is a memorable moment in their life and yours as well. So thank you all for coming, and we'll get some pictures started.